So here to start, I just unscrewed this one, that, and that one. So it's basically kind of like that, and then it's kind of hard to pop out because it's got these little snaps, and they're very kind of difficult to pop out. So you got to use some force on it. Put that to the side. So that was 2 screws there, and then we got 1, 2, and 3 screws there. So I took those out, and then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I believe this screw is to be able to remove the disk drive. So when you get those out, then you can slide the disk drive out. And I believe this screw was right there because there's a little disk icon there. So that allowed us to get this out of the way. Anyways, there's your RAM. Let's just get a shot on that. If you wanted to basically upgrade your RAM there. First thing, maybe we could have done the battery, but we'll do that now, no big deal. There's the battery, super weak sauce battery, but this one's actually dead. This laptop won't hold a charge. And this laptop was barely ever used ever. And I just gave it to my grandma and she had it plugged in the whole time, or not plugged in, which is probably what depleted the battery and made it unrecoverable. We're gonna want to poke a pin through the backside there. One more thing. Right here, there's 1, 2, 3 screws, and those were these screws. So let me just pull one off here for you. Yeah, so it's a Phillips screw and it's 1, 2, and 3. So I think what we're going to want to do now is we're going to flip this over and we're going to use like a paper clip. I'm actually going right in here. I felt the pop there. So let me do that again from the bottom side. So you can see I'm poking up from the bottom there. So let's see if I can grasp the edge right there. Okay, so we got this right here. And so if we kind of run up, should be able to run just kind of a plastic thing all the way down here. All right, so we got this whole thing up here. Okay, so we can remove this. But we got this this ribbon here on the back side. So we're gonna have to disconnect that. And there's this blue strip here, which I believe is just to be able to pull out. Yeah, so we just pulled that straight out. Oh, and that's for the keyboard here. And so it was this spot is what we were pressing upon from the back side with the pin there. We were basically pressing on that action right there. I told you this was going to be kind of an ordeal here. So we still don't see a hard drive. So it looks like we've got basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws there that I see. So nothing's better than a magnetic tip. So now what we want to do is we're actually going to remove this entire thing here. I can't do it with my fingernails, so I don't see any place to start. I use a flathead screwdriver around the edge. I'm just going to create a lot of marks. So these are just generally a good item to have if you're working with electronics and trying to pop cases off. Maybe I can use this as a shim. But I think what we're trying to do here is we're trying to get under here and pop this sort of thing off right here. I actually like the ruler better for sliding under here, but oh, that's working out. Now there's probably going to be some ribbon cables on the back side here. Yeah, like that one right there. So we're going to want to disconnect these guys right here. So this one and that one, and they've left a gap open for us to do that. So it's a clamp. Take that out, slides right out, and then we'll do this one. Clamp, should slide right out. There's a little tab actually here too. So, I mean, you could do tweezers if they were grippy enough. So there you go. So that should pop off. So here we can see our fan here, which you could clean that off right now. I'll just do that. Anyways, you know, there are your speakers, and here's your motherboard, and I've got a memory card sitting in here. Yeah, this is where the CD-ROM tray goes. Here's where our hard drive is. So as stock, it comes with a 500 gig hard drive. I mean, this is one of the worst setups I've ever seen in my life. It's just really miserable. Okay, so now we're going to remove this screw, and then we'll be able to maybe flip this up and out of the way, and then it should be pretty easy. One problem with this whole thing is once I get the SSD in here, because this is so complicated, I would want to test it to see if there's anything. So maybe I don't know if the SSD works or something or other. It's kind of annoying that I can't test it easily because it's so difficult to actually get in here, whereas other laptops are very easy to get inside of. And so that's the problem with this particular laptop. But we will push forward. And oh my gosh, what are they doing there? Made something extra difficult. Anyway, so this is out. So we can go ahead and take off these screws and attach them to the new hard drive. Let's see, I can use this. So what we have to remember is which way was this facing. So this is a little easier because we got the power on that side and the data on that side. So we can just keep it flipped that way and just make sure that these patterns match. So I actually need to flip this around. Remember that board was sitting right there, and so that's there. And now the screws will line up, because as soon as I felt a little resistance, I backed off, but on delicate things, you never want to use this. All right, so that's all on there. Let's see if it fits. So remember, it goes under the here in this, right in that area, and this is a tight fit. This is a tight fit. It doesn't want to go, but it is rubber, but we'll force it in there. All right, okay, so I did it. There you go, I did it. What did I do? I should have connected the cable first. So I'm a dodo brain. I'm insane in the dodo brain. So that's looking good. So now we'll just do everything in reverse. And whenever you take anything apart, it's definitely a good idea to take pictures of a lot of different things. If you are unsure if you'll be able to get it back into. So we're all good here. What was the other thing that I needed to do? I just needed to get the board back on. Is that right? I just need to get the board back on. See, that's where the kind of like this is what I'm thinking. So these are kind of get in there first, right? And then you can kind of push it back, and then everything should kind of clip in there. I will assume that I can get to these, so let me just clip all that in. And that little blue tab, you can use a little gentle force to kind of get that to slide in, but you don't want to bend it up too much, or else, yeah. So, and then this just flips down like that. So you can start doing it like that, and then just screw it down. That's what I do. I just start it, no resistance, and let her rip. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wonder, was that a screw? And then we got these tabs back in there with those clamps back on. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna place this on there. At this time we can kind of blow all this out, but I don't think there's anything really to blow out. Oh, I see. So there's right actually on this one there is a clasp. Here, it's on the back side. It's that black thing. So then that would just sit in here. And at this point, I believe we can just put the battery in and then just test it out. But I'm gonna assume that we've done this all correctly and we're good to go. So these little clips, you can just kind of guide them in here into these holes, right? And then we can just kind of gently push down. Yeah. And so all these are. Close the lid and flip it over. There's no rattling parts that I can hear. It's always a positive sign. Okay, so we don't want to put the battery in yet, but there it is. We don't have anything to do here other than put the screws back in. So these are, metric, I believe, M 2.5 millimeter by the length of 6.5 millimeter. I'm assuming that's what that means. And so here's where these 3 screws come into play. Bolts, I should say. Bolts? Machine screws. And the magnetic head is really nice because it won't come off. So we'll put those right here. So now we'll take our CD tray and slip it in here and see if everything fits. And if it So we want to do it that way because that'll connect here and the bevel is on that side. So that's why it wasn't going in. So see, and if this is how I use the screwdriver, is I hold this and I'm able to just, this stabilizes it, and then I'm able to just spin there so I don't have to do a lot of wrist action. Again, saves me on the arthritis, but this is maybe even better than that. So we'll just go that route. So we can just kind of place all these screws in all these holes. So we'll plug it in. We'll power it on. It says boot device not found. Please install an operating system on your hard disk. Oh, but I did. So now we're just looking at the PC. So we're gonna do a hard drive check real quick, just so it sees the hard drive. I think it did, so it's not a big problem. Smart check not installed. Short DST not involved. F10 to BIOS setup options. Legacy support disabled. I think I need legacy support to see the SSD hard drive. So we're gonna go back up here. We're gonna hit enter. We're gonna enable that. Changing the setting may make it unable to boot to the OS. Well, I've already got that problem. F10 to save and exit. Yes, we'll do that. Okay. Please enter the passcode displayed below to complete the change if you did not initiate this request. Good lord. 0504. How do I hit the plus key? Or do I just hit enter? I'll just hit enter. Oh my gosh. So was that not the most the most obnoxious thing in the world? So I mean, this is a weak laptop, but that SSD drive should make it light years better. So what I did is I actually cloned this drive from another computer that I wanted, so I don't have to install anything. I just did a straight clone, and the program that I used to clone it is Reflect, which is a cheap, easy, and free. And so how I did it was I just said clone this disk. I said so here's what I did. I'll put a link in the description below. But this is a hard drive, an SSD. It's got your power and your data. It plugs into any like laptop hard drive or SATA. So we can just plug it in there. Okay. So let's pretend this is the SSD that I want to transfer the data on. Okay. So we've got that plugged in, and then we've got two USBs. This one alone can work, but I think sometimes if more power is required, it will want you to plug that one in before it works.